our society and culture has portrayed dads as almost like the secondary parent. If you watch movies or TV shows, you can see this stereotype of dads like fumbling around with bottles or spilling the diaper bag everywhere. And I think it's kind of our responsibility as dads today to replace that clueless dad stereotype with a competent one. Welcome back into the Fatherhood Forum, guys. My name is Trevor, and the last episode I kind of went more into like the deep feelings kind of vibe. Today's more of like actionable things that I liked to do to try and just be competent. I was pushing so hard when I became a dad to not be clueless and not have any idea what I was doing. Because that's not helpful. I don't think anyone gets any any value out of that. And I think when I think of the being competent as a dad, there's two real like pillars, quote unquote. One is knowing how to do the things well, and then two is doing those things without instruction or guidance from your partner. And what are those things? Like what are the things you should know how to do? I think first and foremost, you should know how to change a diaper. it, I didn't have any idea when my first kid was here. Within the first hour they were here, I was asked by the nurse, have you ever changed a diaper before? Do I know how to change a diaper? The answer was a hard no. I had never done that before. It was obviously something I knew I was going to have to learn how to do. So she taught me one time right there, probably within the first half hour. Um, I wasn't perfect at first. Nobody is. It's really hard, especially when you have a kicking, screaming newborn right in front of you. But I did learn how to do it. And then once I did learn how to do it, I did them all. That was like my second goal. Learn how to do it, do them all. That was one thing I found that really added value into us being these new parents. And the second thing within knowing how to do stuff was learning the best way to get my kids back to sleep. We all are going to wake up at that 2 and 3 a.m. With our wives to feed or, give them a bottle or whatever the case is, whatever your situation calls for. And I think a goal of the dad in that role should be to get your kid back to sleep. And that's what I focused on. That was like something I'm going to refer to a couple times here as my superpower. I really wanted that to be what I did well. So my wife would feed, and then I would change and try to get them back to sleep as quick as possible, the most effective way possible. Because at the end of the day, it didn't really matter how. I just needed to do it so that we could all get some more sleep. And I think that was it took some trial and error. It obviously wasn't a one and done situation, and it changed once I had it. I thought I had it figured out. They didn't like that method anymore. A little head rock or the football carry or whatever the strategy is, pats on the butt. It changed. It varied. I tried to change with it just to keep up, and it was tough. Obviously, there's tough times, but most of the time I was effective. And honestly, it carried into the first year or two of my kid being here. I was still the one that was able to go in and get them back to sleep, even though that was probably because they like mom more. They just wanted to stay with mom. It was me that was able to at least get in there and get them bored enough with me to go back to sleep. And I'm glad I learned how to do that pretty early on. That second pillar in doing these things kind of automatically or without help or instruction, I think is big. You shouldn't wait for your wife or your partner to ask you for the help. Just jump in and do it. I think that shows that you care, that you're paying attention. Just like hop on the opportunity to change a diaper. Look, it stinks, literally and figuratively. It sucks. There are times that you definitely don't want to do it. It's gross a lot of times. Just do it. That's like the harshest I can be. Like, suck it up, change a poopy diaper, and move on. It's so helpful for everybody. Just get it done, hop on the chance, and move on in your day, okay? Um, and then be in charge of any kind of like prep or cleaning outside of um, changing diapers and like maybe even keeping a diaper caddy, full and stocked with diapers, whatever it is. Pump parts, bottle parts, whatever your situation requires. This is something I didn't do very well at first. I was told a lot early on that those pump parts needed to be cleaned constantly, and I wasn't very good at that at first. So, reflecting, I could have done better early on, but I think, learn that that was an important step to our process. And like, that sucks too. It isn't fun. It's not an enjoyable thing to get your fingers and sponges and brushes or whatever into these bottle parts. Or these pump parts too. Like none of them, it hurts. It's not fun. My fingers don't fit in spaces that big, and I think the sooner you get it done after use, the better. Because if you let it sit around, it's just gonna come back to haunt you. I mean, next thing you know, your spouse will need it again, and it won't be clean. And guess whose fault that is? Yours. So I think just hop on cleaning and staying on top of that. Cleaning, sanitizing, getting them dry so that they're ready to use the next time around. Those are really like the two pillars that I focused on as a new dad, to like be good at these. And then I mentioned superpower before. Picking one of those things, or maybe it's multiple of those things, to just be really, really good at, I think can be super helpful. I mentioned that my superpower, quote unquote, is I wanted it to be getting them back to sleep. I took it almost as a challenge. It did frustrate me at times. I had to set them down and walk away. That's just part of it. You lose some battles, but the fact that you can win most of them is the important part, and that's what I was doing when I was trying to get my kids back to sleep. So whatever your superpower is, whatever you think you can add the most value to in your process, it's all particular to your situation. Just try and be good at that thing or those multiple things, and I think that's the best case for everybody. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss more, and I will see you in the next episode.